In 1990, Universal Studios Florida opened a ride that was supposed to change the theme park industry forever. 2 months later, it was a disaster. 3 years and tens of millions of dollars later, it came back from the dead. Then, after surviving for nearly 2 decades, it was demolished to make room for Harry Potter. This is the complete story of Jaws. Most theme park rides fail quietly. A few mechanical issues, some disappointing attendance numbers, a replacement announced years later. Nobody outside the industry notices. Jaws was not one of those rides. Jaws failed so spectacularly that it became one of the most infamous engineering disasters in theme park history. What's remarkable is that it eventually transformed into one of the most beloved attractions Universal ever built. That combination almost never happens. Usually, a failed attraction stays failed. Jaws somehow became a legend. And to understand why, we need to go back to the late 1980s when Universal decided it wanted to challenge Disney on its own turf. At the time, Walt Disney World dominated Orlando. Disney wasn't just winning, Disney was the industry. For millions of tourists, a Florida vacation meant Disney. Universal wanted to change that. Their strategy was different. Disney built attractions inspired by stories. Universal would put guests directly inside movies. The company was preparing to launch Universal Studios Florida, a park designed around the idea that visitors could step into the worlds they had seen on the big screen. And if you wanted one movie to prove that concept worked, there was an obvious choice. Jaws. Steven Spielberg's 1975 blockbuster wasn't just successful, it changed Hollywood. Before Jaws, summer was considered a weak season for movie releases. After Jaws, summer became blockbuster season. The film terrified audiences, broke box office records, and turned a giant shark into one of the most recognizable movie villains ever created. Universal owned the property. The movie remained iconic. Building a Jaws attraction seemed like a guaranteed win. At least that's what everyone hoped. Development began in 1987. The attraction was envisioned as the signature experience of Universal Studios Florida. Not one of the major rides, the major ride. The attraction that would appear in commercials. The attraction guests would talk about after leaving the park. The attraction that would convince people Universal belonged in the same conversation as Disney. The budget reflected those ambitions. Early estimates placed the project at approximately $20 million. Even by modern standards, that's substantial. By late 1980s standards, it was enormous, but the costs kept growing. The creative team wanted larger effects, more sophisticated shark animatronics, more elaborate scenery, more immersion, more realism. Every upgrade increased the price. Eventually, the final construction cost approached $45 million. That made Jaws one of the most expensive attractions Universal had ever attempted, and not everyone was convinced it was a good idea. Industry legend Bob Gurr, one of the most respected ride engineers in theme park history, was reportedly offered the opportunity to work on the project. He declined. Not because he disliked the movie, not because he disliked Universal, because he considered the project too risky. That's worth remembering. When someone with decades of experience looks at a ride proposal and says, "No thanks," it's usually for a reason. The reason became obvious after opening day. But before we get there, it's important to understand exactly what Universal was trying to build. The concept sounded straightforward. Guests would board tour boats in Amity Harbor. The boats would travel through scenes inspired by the movie. Then a giant mechanical shark would begin attacking. Guests would experience explosions, near misses, and encounters with the shark before narrowly escaping. Simple, except it wasn't. The engineering challenge was extraordinary. The shark wasn't attacking a stationary object. The shark was attacking a moving boat, while moving through water, in perfect synchronization, hundreds of times every day. Imagine trying to coordinate two moving vehicles with split-second accuracy. Now imagine one of those vehicles weighs several tons, operates underwater, and is expected to emerge dramatically at exactly the right moment. That's the challenge Universal created for itself, and it turned out to be much harder than anyone expected. Universal Studios Florida officially opened on June 7th, 1990. The anticipation was massive. Guests flooded into the park. Jaws was immediately one of the most popular attractions. Then the problems started, almost immediately. Mechanical failures appeared within days. Animatronics malfunctioned, sensors failed, effects failed, timing systems failed, entire sequences stopped working correctly. Employees quickly realized the attraction was struggling. Guests noticed too. One of the ride's most famous failures involved the shark's attack sequence. The shark was supposed to emerge aggressively, exposing its massive teeth as it lunged toward the boat. Instead, many riders saw something very different. Gums. The shark frequently malfunctioned in ways that exposed its gums rather than its teeth. The result wasn't terrifying, It was unintentionally hilarious. People fear shark teeth. Nobody fears shark gums. Universal had spent $45 million creating one of cinema's most terrifying monsters. Guests were laughing at it. But even that wasn't the biggest problem. The real nightmare was happening behind the scenes. The attraction's mechanical systems were experiencing constant stress. Water is one of the worst environments for machinery. Corrosion, wear, electrical issues, alignment problems, everything becomes more complicated. Jaws depended on extraordinary precision. Instead, engineers found extraordinary problems. Then came the discovery that changed everything. Inspections revealed structural weld cracks in key ride components. Suddenly, the conversation shifted from reliability to safety. This wasn't simply an attraction breaking down. There were concerns that critical infrastructure could fail. The lagoon was drained. Engineering teams began emergency assessments. Executives faced an uncomfortable reality. Their flagship attraction wasn't just malfunctioning, it was fundamentally broken, and it had only been operating for a little over 2 months. Think about that. Years of development, tens of millions of dollars, a massive marketing campaign, and the centerpiece attraction was effectively collapsing before the summer season was over. The situation became even messier. An employee reportedly fell into the attraction's water during operations and later sued Universal. Universal responded with legal action against ride contractors and designers. Everyone was pointing fingers. Everyone was assigning blame, because nobody wanted responsibility for one of the most expensive ride failures in industry history. Then, Universal made a decision that surprised almost everyone. They shut the ride down completely. On August 22, 1990, Jaws closed, officially. The attraction had survived just 76 days. That's it, 76 days. Most attractions spend longer in soft opening than Jaws spent operating as a finished ride. At that point, Universal faced a choice: abandon the attraction or rebuild it. To Universal's credit, they didn't quit. Instead, they committed even more money. Consultants were brought in. Engineers reevaluated every system. Ride manufacturers studied every failure. The conclusion was brutal. The attraction couldn't simply be repaired, it had to be redesigned, almost entirely. Universal essentially treated the original version as an expensive prototype, a $45 million prototype. What followed became one of the most expensive do-overs in theme park history. The reopening was initially planned for 1991. That deadline proved unrealistic. Then, 1992, also unrealistic. The problems were deeper than expected. Major portions of the ride system had to be re-engineered. The ride boats were modified. Control systems were redesigned. The shark mechanisms were rebuilt. Swiss ride manufacturer Intamin became heavily involved. Marine engineering firm Oceaneering helped redesign the shark systems. Years passed. Costs continued rising. Industry estimates suggested Universal eventually spent as much as $70 million between the original construction and the complete rebuild. $70 million. In the early 1990s, adjusted for inflation, that's well into nine-figure territory today. And here's the crazy part. Universal still believed it was worth saving. That tells you how important Jaws was to the company's vision. Finally, on October 1st, 1993, Jaws reopened. 3 years, 1 month, 9 days after closing. And this version was different, very different. This was the version people remember. Guests boarded pontoon boats operated by live skippers. Those skippers became the secret ingredient that made the attraction work. Every skipper delivered a scripted tour, but great skippers added personality, comedy, improvisation, energy. No two rides felt exactly the same. That human element transformed the experience. Guests weren't simply watching effects, they were participating in a story. The premise remained simple. Visitors were touring Amity Island after the events of Spielberg's film. Everything seemed normal for a while. Then, disaster struck. The shark appeared, again and again, from different directions, different angles, different surprises. Massive practical effects filled the experience. Explosions, fire, water effects, animatronics, physical sets. The ride's gas dock sequence became particularly famous. When the shark attacked, fuel ignited. 30-foot flames erupted into the air. Guests felt actual heat, Not simulated heat, real heat. The boathouse sequence became another fan favorite. The boat entered near total darkness. The shark attacked unexpectedly. Guests screamed. Even people who knew the ride by heart still reacted. That's the power of practical effects. And that's what made Jaws special. Modern attractions increasingly rely on screens. Jaws relied on physical reality. A real boat, real water, real fire, real explosions. A real mechanical shark trying to eat you. The attraction demanded enormous maintenance, every day, every hour, every cycle. The sharks remained complicated, the effects remained expensive. The gas dock explosion alone consumed significant fuel. Technicians constantly monitored systems, repairs never stopped. Yet guests didn't see maintenance costs, they saw magic. And for nearly 2 decades, Jaws became one of Universal's defining attractions. Generations of visitors experienced it. Families rode it repeatedly. Skippers became fan favorites. The ride developed something executives can't manufacture: nostalgia. That nostalgia became extremely important in 2011, because by then, Universal had discovered something even more powerful than nostalgia: Harry Potter. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter opened in Islands of Adventure in 2010. The response was extraordinary. Attendance surged, guest spending surged, everything surged. The land changed the theme park industry overnight. Universal suddenly possessed the hottest intellectual property in entertainment, and they wanted more. A second Harry Potter expansion was inevitable. The question wasn't whether it would happen. The question was where. The answer became obvious. Amity Island occupied a large section of valuable real estate. Jaws required expensive maintenance. Harry Potter promised enormous profits. From a business perspective, the decision practically made itself. In December 2011, Universal announced Jaws would close permanently. Fans were devastated. Petitions appeared. Complaints flooded online forums. Social media exploded with reactions. None of it changed the outcome. The ride's fate had already been decided. The final day arrived on January 2, 2012. Thousands of fans showed up. Lines stretched far beyond normal operations. The wait reached approximately 90 minutes. People rode repeatedly. People recorded videos. People cried. People celebrated. People mourned. It felt less like an attraction closure and more like a funeral. Then something happened that perfectly summarized the ride's history. The final shark effect malfunctioned. The shark was broken on the last day. For longtime fans, it felt strangely appropriate. Jaws had spent its entire existence battling technical problems. Of course it would break one last time. Anything else would have felt wrong. The final boat returned. The final guests exited. The attraction closed forever. The next day, construction walls appeared. Amity Island disappeared behind them. Demolition followed. Months later, the sets were gone. The lagoon was gone. The shark was gone. One of Universal's most iconic attractions had vanished. In its place, Universal built Diagon Alley. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter expansion opened in July 2014. The investment paid off enormously. Attendance increased, revenue increased. The decision made perfect business sense. But fans never stopped missing Jaws. And that's what makes this story unusual. Most demolished attractions fade from memory. Jaws didn't. 14 years after closure, ride videos continue attracting viewers. Hundreds of millions of views have accumulated online. People still watch final ride recordings. People still discuss favorite skippers. People still share memories. That's remarkable for a ride that no longer exists. Or does it? Because pieces of Jaws remain. The giant hanging shark photo op still survives elsewhere in Universal Orlando. Hidden references to Jaws exist throughout Diagon Alley. Former Amity structures remain integrated into newer areas. Even the utility infrastructure behind some effects reportedly traces its roots back to the old attraction. The shark may be gone, its fingerprints remain everywhere. And in 2026, Universal confirmed that Jaws would return in some form during seasonal offerings. Not a rebuilt ride, not a permanent replacement, but proof that the company understands something important. People still care. 14 years later, people still care. That's the legacy of Jaws. A ride that opened as a disaster. A ride that nearly collapsed under its own ambition. A ride that cost a fortune. A ride that spent 3 years being rebuilt from scratch. A ride that never stopped breaking. And a ride that somehow became one of the most beloved attractions Universal ever created. That's not failure. That's survival. That's legend. And that's why people still talk about a broken mechanical shark decades after it disappeared beneath the water for the last time. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the most fascinating theme park stories aren't the rides that worked perfectly, they're the ones that almost didn't survive at all. We cover the attractions corporations demolished, abandoned, rebuilt, and tried to forget, because there are still plenty of buried stories waiting beneath the surface.